It's a quick start. We head to the asteroid cluster, where several criminals are possibly waiting for us. Me in the co-pilot seat for the turret, and Vinix in the pilot seat. We had taken a mission to eliminate hostiles, and that was what we were going to do. As I shoot hostiles, let me tell you what I'm doing. Welcome to Star Citizen. As much as I love Elite, after Odyssey, I simply can't recommend it anymore. Star Citizen is everything Odyssey promised, and more. Ship interiors, full atmospherics, fun missions. It's a great game, even in the state it's in. It's not complete by any means, but I'm glad that I've hopped on for the ride. The combat in Star Citizen is great. It feels good, the explosions are great, and it's generally simple to learn. Vinix helped me get on my feet before I parted ways with him for the rest of the day. That was the first time I saw an explosion. Let me tell you, I was instantly hooked. It was beautiful to see. Simply shooting enemies for 5 or 10 minutes got me 47,000 AUEC. The in-game currency, which I'll refer to simply as credits. The ship we're using is a 600i, not a combat vessel by any means. In fact, it's a touring model. I personally own a 315P, a Pathfinder, which will come up later in the video. This was not my first time landing on a planet. However, it was my first time doing a ground mission. I was excited, and I didn't know what to expect. As the ship lowered beneath the clouds, I was able to see what we were headed for. A crashed satellite that fell out of orbit. We had to reboot the OS in order to locate the key we were assigned to destroy. I never expected a game like this to have such an interesting mission. I'm honestly disappointed I didn't like Star Citizen entirely because I was an Elite Dangerous Commander. I was so dumb. One of the only things I dislike about Star Citizen is the audio. While I know there's no sound in space, you are only slightly able to hear the engine, and landing has no sound other than your COVAS telling you that you've landed. If you've watched my Elite Dangerous review, you'd know that I love audio design in space sims. It was now time to venture out. The 600i is a massive ship, so it requires an elevator to let you down. It was so interesting to watch as the ship lowered me onto this beautiful planet with life all around it. The satellite crash site seemed real and very recent. I occasionally open my communications tab, so if that's ever up, that's because I'm checking to make sure that Vinix never contacted me. Communication is key when you're doing a multi-crew mission. I don't know what to expect as I near the site, so I draw my weapon. I don't open the access panel right away, but I cut out the 5-minute section of me just looking around. I open the access panel. I'm not sure why I needed to, and I didn't need to take the chip that I took. Either way, it kept us going. It took me a few tries to reach the next location, which I didn't record. It was some kind of parkour that I heavily struggled with. Inside the satellite seemed, well, like a satellite. I don't know what I expected, but I was just simply awestruck. I reboot the OS, and we continue on our way to the secret outpost. Though I did complain about the ship audio, all other audio is just great. It sounds like you're really there, and it was super enjoyable. I will be making more videos on Star Citizen, for sure. Here is some evidence that there are some bugs. This one wasn't terrible, it was just a small clip, but they are there. Keep that in mind if you ever decide to play it. However, they are working on it, and there are always fixes and changes. Instead of following Vinix into the cockpit, I decided to explore a bit. With the size of the ship, I only explored a few rooms, but it gave me a sense of how amazing ship interiors are. I don't think I can ever go back to Elite without them. I mean, my Crate Mark II is massive, and all I get to see is a small cockpit? This room really felt like a lounge in a cruise ship. It had a bar, which will be functional, I believe, soon. The massive windows gave me a great view of the planet, and I was able to hear the engines really raw. It felt unreal. I head back to the cockpit with Vinix, where I can watch as we go to Hurston for our next objective.
Quantum drive deactivated.
We were nearing the surface, but I was expecting some large outpost like an Elite, but it was some building. I liked the change. It felt more realistic for a security outpost. I had yet to be able to see the building though. The 600 Eyes design has to be some of the best I've ever seen, Elite or Star Citizen. I really like it, and I hope to be able to afford it someday. I exit my seat to prepare for a disembarkment, even though we still had a bit to go. I had no clue what we were about to be in for. Again, the elevator lowers us down. Again, it reveals the beauty of the planet. Again, I'm awestruck. The heavy fog added to the atmosphere, the building, and everything around us. I could practically feel the humidity of the hot air. As we near the building, I realized this won't just be going in and back out. There were sublevels. That meant it must have heavy security. The aesthetic inside felt amazing. It was so cool to see, and I just hope to be able to do it again. Vinix alerts me that there will be 6 to 12 enemies in this place, so I pull my gun out and become on high alert. There were immediate gunshots. Vinix kills the guard. as I aim down my barrel and shoot two clueless security members. Maybe I went a little bit overkill. I tried to reload, but I had no magazines. We continued down, keeping on high alert. We have to stay at least a bit quiet, even though I'm sure the guards were alerted by my rifle. Gunshots hit us again. The area was clear. We were able to do our next objective. I take the key, which we had to destroy. I drop it on the ground, then shoot it with my pistol. It was annihilated into some sparks. Now we just had to head back to Lorville. Vinix allowed me to fly the 600i back to port, where my ship was stored. It was a fun ship to fly. You could feel the weight of it against the gravity. I request docking, then to pilot the ship to the docking bay. It was straight down, making it extremely hard to dock at.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Landing gear deployed.
As I near the docking bay, I deploy the landing gear and open third person again. It's very hard to dock into this port, so I had to line up the ship with the bay.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
I had done it. I did my first on-foot mission, then piloted back to dock. It felt good. It felt accomplished. Now, it was time to part ways with Vinix and do my own missions. I retrieve my ship, the 315P, then head to my own bay. I lied. This is actually the next day. I didn't fly much, but went to a different port. Before I went back to Bay, I looked at the vista of Hurston. It was a beautiful planet. I couldn't believe what I saw. Was that liquid water? Do some of these planets have liquid water on them? I was in awe. I mean, this game is just... it's something else. I decided to take up a mission while in port. I'm not sure why I decided to do that, but it's just what I decided to do. So, I took up a mission, then head back to my ship. Back in my 315P, I sit in the pilot chair. While smaller, my 315P is also faster than the 600i.
Origin jump at your service. Core system operational.
I launch from port and head to my destination, doing some fancy flying first.
Landing.
Bear in mind, I haven't used my HOTAS yet, as the controls are quite different from Elite in that sense. I love the look of ships in Star Citizen. The afterburner and thrusters look so cool, while keeping a realistic design. The cockpits are more realistic than Elite, and of course, their ship interiors. A Quantum drive's the equivalent of Super Cruise in Elite. It looks a bit cooler in my opinion too. Also, I don't need to pilot a ship during this time. I can get up and anywhere in my ship. It's in an autopilot to the destination. Hurston is a heavily polluted planet, hence the orange atmosphere, but it's one of my favorite looking ones. It's fully terraformed as well, meaning that you can survive there for long periods of time.
Quantum drive deactivated.
I take back everything I said about ship thrusters. If you didn't believe Hurston was heavily polluted, here's your evidence. It's all metal. There's a little bit of plant life as well, but it's mostly old buildings and metal and such. Ah, here we are, the crash site.
Landing gear raised. Landing gear deployed.
I'll land my ship nearby, then disembark.
Complete.
The object didn't load in for about 10 minutes, so I've cut that all out. I have a hard landing on the ground, which knocked me down. Luckily, I wasn't harmed. That would change from a cargo hatch mishap soon, though. Nearly 10 minutes later, the crash site finally loads in, which is why I'm a little bit surprised about what's here. I go in the main area, where the cockpit is. Nothing's there. It's empty. It was pretty creepy, really. You know, somebody was in there piloting it, but nobody was in there. I do find a couple bodies. I've been to crash sites in Elite before, but no more anything like this. It was great. I'm loving this game so far. I get stuck in my bay, the only way out through going prone. I hit my head hard against a rock, leaving my ears ringing. I still had work to do though. I had to find the black box, which was right in this capsule here. There was also a body next to it. It was strange to have to pick up a black box. I was used to having to scoop it up in my SRV or ship. My ears wouldn't stop ringing. It really annoyed me, but I kept pushing. I had to get back to dock now. I had to get rid of my black box and get some kind of way to heal myself. Something as simple as the landing gear retracting looks somehow better than an Elite. I don't know how they did it, but they did it well.
Quantum drive activated.
I used Quantum Drive over to Hurston, which is slightly dark.
Quantum drive deactivated.
I do a little bit of fancy flying on the way back to port, but I needed to focus more on getting that black box out of my ship and getting healed. Again, I request docking and head to port.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
I used the same tactic as last time I landed, except this time I crash into the bay a little bit. Either way, I land safely.
Landing complete.
I disembark from my ship and head to the area to drop off the box.
Say,
It's pretty simple, really. All I needed to do was get in the elevator, then go to the small ATM-like machine to drop off the box. When it comes to cities, Lorville is unfortunately one of my least favorite. Though it does have its own aesthetic, it's still kind of bland, I guess. When it comes to cities, you have Grim Hex and New Babbage and Area 18 and places like that that have their own special things, but Lorville is just kind of bland.
we're sorry.
I drop off the box in the ATM-like machine.
Have to return your ship.
Then, it'll simply close itself up, and I'll get awarded.
Initiating ship storage procedure. For your safety, please vacate the area. Thank you for your cooperation.
I'd like to thank everybody for watching to this point, as I'm going to end the video once I get my AUEC. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video, whether that's Alchemy or Star Citizen. Expect more.